Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us in today's session of the Poets Cafe. It is where artists come alive. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasure, expressing tones of lyrics felt within the soul, a vibration that brings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken word, artistic expression, and painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind of all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the calls of nature and sing in harmony while praying for the love of the skies and dancing with the stars like a feminine ballerina, gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe, Poetically Speaking. Hosted by Terry Benjamin and Ron C. McCrae. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.
So here we are again. It's episode 3, and we're going to continue some of the things that we spoke about before. Leslie spoke about love, so we're going to call this Love Part 2. You know, Ron, when we do something like that, it reminds me of James Brown. He had a song, and Get on the Good Foot, Part 1 and 2, Say Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, Part 1 and 2, Pass the Peas, Part 1 and 2. It's just that, I guess when he get into his music is so good that he don't want to cut it. And back in the day, you had to look at in the radio, the songs had to be like 2 to 3 minutes. And if you went any longer than that, then that was too long. And so he cut up, and then we got it on what they called at that time the LP, a little different. And then the CD was even better, go a little longer. But again, so for those who were with us last week, so this will be part 2 of Love. This is Love Part 2. So as always, we began with Ron's poetry. You know, again, we want you to understand it is the program, Poetically Speaking, and we say this is a place for the spoken word. And we invite you to join us. Also, we invite you to be a guest. So if you're a poet out there, if you feel that you have something you want to share, we invite you to come on the program. So with that being said, we will begin. So, Mr. Ron, what do you have for us today?
What I'd like to do to add to a little part 2 of this session is to read one of my pieces titled Love Inside. And that's important for each one to really look inside yourself and continue to think about what is love inside of you. And so if I may, I'm going to read this. Love inside. Hidden inside a place filled with untapped romance. Emotions twirling around, going nowhere beyond the thought that the sun shines no more. True love is linked to a chain pulling you towards a plateau, who showcase various elements describing the definition one's longed for. You are up to a place beyond the measure of your own thinking, but you express a reality that the desire that awakens you doesn't exist, and that you create your own self-worth. Proverbs 30. states, "Who can find a virtuous woman?" That's important to understand what constitutes a virtuous woman.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Standing in the shadows of a beauty that adorns the nature, nurturing states. Love is the essence of time, a mystical birth, unlike the freshness, pure, unadulterated oxygen. Every moment that feels is renewed. Thinking about how wonderful he is in the tenderness of soft-spoken words, masculine tone stretches across the aisle. I haven't seen you in this place called Where Have You Been? Here all the time you have been searching outside your blindness. Here's a romantic series of searching for a unique flower planted outside my comfort zone in plain sight. Here is the candlelights with sweet smelling fragrance as a calling, sends my body yearning in deep compassion. Cringing for a touch of passion, drink of wine. I cry, sweating profusely, in a state of insanity, searching for my lover to arrive. My body was drenched as the water fell over the edge, pounding the soles of my feet, as my heart held a force that caused a massive rhythm to skip beats. Oh, my beloved, as the earth shattered beneath my feet, where art thou? As a loud voice screamed inside the middle of my brokenness, scrambling.
It's well said. What inspired that particular piece?
You know, as we spoke about it previous in reference to love, I think it's a subject and actually internal thoughts and feelings that so many, male or female, young and old, actually searching for, but never take time to think about what it is until you actually look inside yourself and really try to sit down and discover what constitutes love inside. It's beyond to say, well, I love me, I love this. But do you really think about the essence of who you are, the gentleness and the yearning that you look for from the soft touch of a masculine man or the tender touch of a woman? Okay, that's what's important. That's what love is. It's like holding a child. You know, a child wants a hug. Right. And we spoke about this before, but it's a love inside. And that's the unspoken word that so often screams outward that too many don't take time to listen to. What is he or she saying? How is he or she feeling? What is it about him or her? Everything is not catastrophic. That's right. You know, everything is not negative, but it's understanding what that person is yearning for.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, you know, it gets to the point where, and I know you've heard this, and I know our audience has heard this, is that you never miss it until it's gone. Because, you know, sometimes you have the love of your life, but for whatever reason, it comes to an end, or you lose that love, and then you realize what you've lost, and you can't get it back. So again, I guess the message, the lesson is Joe Tex used to say, you had better hold on to what you got.
Isn't that something? And you know, and it's so true. And too often, too many let it go or they lose it without thinking about what do I have.
That's right.
Now, there's a difference. Let's be clear about this. There's a difference for those who actually know what they have, but took advantage of really allowing to go because they just want to see, as the old saying, if you let it go and it'll return.
That's right.
Well, don't get mad if you do that because it didn't return. But if nothing else,
you're taking a chance.
Take a chance. But remember what you had. You see, so if and when the next time somebody comes along, you don't take out on that person what happened with your previous, but you learn from within yourself what will embellish the love within you to showcase somebody else to say, I'm still a flower, dancing in the midst of life, like a ballerina across across the stage,
That's
you
right,
know,
that's
soft
right.
and tender.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how you want to be treated.
Yeah, and again, you know, it seems like the older you get, the more that you learn these lessons, but it sometimes it's painful. I mean, you may have been to 2, 3, 4, 5 of different love relationships. You know, every one has a different flavor, but then again, you get to your 50s and your 60s and your 70s, and you know, you realize quite suddenly that you probably have more life behind you than you have ahead of you. And then what do you do then? What is your perspective on love and life then? I tell you, because I know it's a little bit different.
You know, it's interesting, which is true, you know, as we get older. But it's not so much getting older. It's each step of the way that we learn something different.
That's right.
You don't take scars. We've been scarred, but you don't take scars and keep them open. You learn to cultivate the wound, heal it. So as you continue to move forward, and like the whisper says, it just gets better with time.
Well, we harmonized up in here. I tell you, Ron, if I could sing, man, I sing this whole program. You know, you couldn't shut me up.
So those who are listening, just turn the whispers on.
Right.
It just gets better with time.
Yeah, think about that, you know. Because one of the things that I would encourage you to do, we have a segment of the program it's called Music is Lit, where I read lyrics as poetry. I don't know about you, but after I read the poem, and after the program is over, of course, you might want to put those songs on, because I got 2 nice songs for you in the course of this particular program. But I want to get back to Ron's poetry. I want to hear some more poetry, Ron.
Well, let me see what I have for you.
Yes, he digs into his magic bag.
Let me read this one. This is around winter, and some states receive the condition what winter represents.
That's right.
And that is snow. And the title of this one is Snowflakes. And you can tie that into a more subtle, romantic, mystical way, because again, how many sit back and think about the snowflakes that's falling, the soft gentleness of it, and to see the white glittering snow. Kids love to play, and you have adults. Now, I ain't talking about the ones who sitting there mad because it's snowing outside.
I can't get to work.
But let's look at it for a more romantic way.
Okay.
Snowflakes. So many white, plush, soft, uninformed shapes with crystal sparkles as each touch melts away into remembrance. Like a smile as the seasons change, moving in a time where life stands still, frozen in the moment, as the creation of the earth rests upon the warmth of silence. Hibernation is not isolation, but a time to remain on yesterday's past. Snowflakes twinkling smile, red rosy cheeks settle with a flavor of chocolate, mint, marshmallows, soft and gooey as the giggles twist your stress away.
That's right.
Snowflakes, fresh, chilling taste that melts instantly the moment it settles, like an emollient, juicy kiss, fading into a zone. Warp speed draws back, and the moment vanishes into thin, magical sparkle, bursting in all directions. But be careful not to hold out your tongue. You might draw back a frozen icicle full of snowflakes. They fall on your hair, nose, ears, collarbones, and shoulders, yet the cuddleness of strong, soft, tender embraces me. Now I know I'm not alone. They fell upon the earth and laid while we played, until a voice said, it's time to come home. Oh, what fun it is to sled ride, capsize, roll until we say, let's do it again. That was fun, yeah. Snowflakes pause at the wonders of what life has to offer. Pearly white fades from dusk to dawn, until the moonlight glitters across the shiny surface as a Kodak moment captures the fresh of snowflakes as we tiptoe our way home.
Snowflakes. And Ron, what is that? What book is that poem from? Would you hold up the book? Because I want people to understand that a lot of the poetry he has written new, but there's some that is in some of his poetry collections. And this one is from the Archaeological Cafe.
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Archaeological Cafe. It's about delving inside yourself. Search for that hidden treasure. Search for the snowflakes, that tenderness, that soft warmth, embellishing moment that really capture the attention of who you are inside.
Yes, and again, that's just one of 2 books that he has published. And I want you to understand that this is something that you can do. A lot of times we wait for people to put us on, to publish us, but you can be a self-published author, and that can develop into something else. So all of you who do have poetry that you have collected, that you want to publish it yourself. And later on in the program, I'm going to talk about a situation where a group of writers got together and they published an anthology, and I'm going to share that with you in one segment of our program. But again, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for being part of our audience. We also thank you for the things that you have written in the comments section, because we read all those comments, and we want to make sure that we honor what you say, because again, it's important to us. At this point, we want to transition to another part of the program, and this is the part of the program which I really enjoy, and this is where it's called the Poet Spotlight. And in the Spotlight, we look at one artist and we share some poetry from that artist. Now, in this is very special right here, because again, we have a situation where we're going to speak about a particular poet, but we're going to give you opportunity to actually hear that poet. And the poet that I'm speaking about is Nikki Giovanni, who passed at the age of 81. So again, it's really nice to read the poetry of a particular poet, but it's even better to hear that poet's voice. And so we're going to give you an opportunity to do that. This is Nikki Giovanni, and this is from 1974. It's called Revolutionary Dreams.
Poetry is a living entity, which means that it must expand its wings. It must fly. I used to dream militant dreams of taking over America to show these white folks how it should be done. I used to dream radical dreams of blowing everyone away with my perceptive powers of correct analysis. I even used to think I'd be the one to stop the riot and negotiate the peace. Then I awoke and dug that if I dreamed natural dreams of being a natural woman, doing what a woman does when she is natural, I would have a revolution. Poetry is a living entity.
What do you think?
It's interesting when you listen to the expression, you listen to what she's writing, you listen to what she was feeling at that time, you listen to what she was seeing at that time, and then you can kind of give an interpretation on understanding what the message was all about. And poetry is all around.
It is.
It's telling the story of what you see, feel, think, but in essence, it's helping you, or you helping it, to being brought to life, to tell the story so everybody can understand what was happening. Where are we at? It's easy to hear so many complaints and whatnot.
That's right. Yeah.
But listen to the story of somebody. And that's why here, Poetically Speaking, we invite each and every person to come out and express, to tell us who you are.
And the beautiful thing about it is that, we're here, Sunday and also Thursday. And again, you can tune in whatever day that you like, and we're going to be here. We're going to be talking poetry. But one of the things that I want you to understand, this platform, BKS1 Radio TV, is something that is available for you on YouTube. And I encourage you to not only watch this program, but other programs as well. And just as a program note, on Mondays from 4 to 5, there's a program that I want to bring your attention to. The program is called Unapologetic Amateur Looking for Experts with author Ruby Williams Shivers. And the producer is Sheila Brown Bird. And the consultants are Lula Salvador and Juanita McClure. And again, I want you to enjoy that program, because this is a program that's really where I got my start, because I was the co-host and still am the co-host on that program. And it was a year before I started with this program. So I want to show you, so sometimes some things take time, you know. And so you don't want to rush into anything. You want to make sure you're ready. And one of the things, we talk about different authors and whatnot, and I want to share 2 books with you. These are 2 new books. And the first book that I want to share is a book from a young lady that I know, and I've known her for years. As a matter of fact, I've known her for decades, you know. And the title of the book is When I Hear Spirituals, and this is by Cheryl Willis Hudson, illustrated by London Ladd. And again, this is a particular book where I was sharing this with Ron before we came on air, and I was showing him what she does in this particular book. She has commentary, and then she has some lyrics from an actual song. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to have him read just a couple of pages from this book, and then he's going to have some poetic commentary. We go from there. So again, this is a new book from 2024. Again, When I Hear Spirituals. Okay. And Ron is just going to read just a few pages from that book, because I want you to get a flavor of this book. And I also, sometime soon, we probably will have Cheryl come on the show. But I just want you to know this book is out, and I want you to experience it.
And it's interesting because, again, as it was just expressed to you, is to think about who you are on the inside. And when that spirit moves in you, what is it saying to you? Is it speaking to you? How do you feel emotionally, spiritually, with a sound internal thought? When I hear spiritual, somehow I know I have an anchor and my roots grow deep. That's important to understand. When I hear spiritual, somehow I know I have an anchor and my roots grow deep. Wading in the water. Wading in the water. Children wading in the water. God's going to trouble the water.
Yes, that's beautiful. And again, and that's the way it goes through the book. She has a commentary, and then she has a spiritual. Let's go into another part of that book, and because again, like I said, I want to get you. I just want to give you a sense of what the book is about, you know. Because again, I want you to buy the book, and I want you to experience what she has to say. Okay, so this is another part from the book.
Let me read this part. When I hear spiritual, sometimes I want to clap my hand. How do you feel? Get on board, little children. Get on board, little children. Get on board, little children. There's a room for many a more.
Thank you. Again, and that's from a new book. You know, it just came out from Cheryl Willis Hudson, and it's called When I Hear Spirituals. And so when she hears spirituals, she makes a connection to something that has been done before. Okay, now that's one book that I want to bring to your attention. But another book that I want to bring to your attention is this book right here. And this is a 2025 Anthology Almanac Series. And this is a book that's set up where you have authors writing stories from January to December. And each of the authors write a story related to that particular month. And basically what happens is it's an almanac anthology. And again, we will have some of these people on the show. But the thing that I really like about this, Ron, and the reason I'm really sharing is because we talk about self-determination. This is a group of writers that got together and they published their own book. Okay, they got together and they made this happen. And I'm saying it to you out there is that you can make it happen. Okay? Don't wait for someone to put you on, put yourself on. And I really like this anthology because, again, it's writers coming together to publish their work and to share it with you, the public. So those are two examples of what I call creative self-determination. And that can happen for you. You don't have to wait for someone to put you on. And Ron, before we go on, my question to you is that what made you decide to publish your own books, your own 2 books? What was that spark?
Well, that spark was that you learn to do for yourself. You really start to learn and find out more about you and separate what we actually create fear. And we become nervous. We say we can't, we don't know how. And then you look around and hope that somebody else might be able to help you and guide you and direct you. On my journey, I experienced a lot of those things, trying to find out who, what, when, where, and how. Until I started going to several different poetry cafe sessions and listening to and even understanding way back when self-publishing. And that's what's important. And so you start to look more about yourself. Why do I doubt? What's holding me back? And just like the piece that I read in reference to anchor, I know I have an anchor and my roots grow deep. You do have an anchor and they grow deep, but it's up to you to understand that they grow deep, but it's not growing deep to hold you down and back. So this way you feel like I'm strapped and isolated. No, it's about the opportunity. So for me, again, is that I had to step back and knowing that it was just me in that time frame, I had to do what I need to do with what little I learned and understood from those who have journeyed from their past, and I'm here to learn from them. And it's a continuation, no matter how you look at it. And as you just said, it's about people coming together, helping one another, writing their pieces, putting things in place, because nobody can do it for you, but it's up to you to step out and make an effort to step forward. And somebody, somewhere, somehow will guide you and lift you up, because none of us got here by ourselves.
That's so true. And the thing that I want you to understand is that whatever you want to do, there's someone who did it before you. Okay? What we're doing now, this is a continuation of other people who have done this. And it's not that we're doing it better or not we're doing different, but it's a situation where we have a blueprint. They say that success leaves footsteps. Okay, so we're following in the footsteps of others to realize our own success. And so when I share books by other authors, new authors, is to encourage you, and it encourages me, because the thing is that Ron and I know these people that we're talking about. These books that we're presenting to you, we know these people. We know them. We talk to them. They're our friends. They're our colleagues. And the thing is that whatever you want to do, there's someone who does it, who did it before, and all you have to do is just follow their footsteps. And you're not going to do it the way that they did it, but you can do it. People say that, it's impossible. Well, it's impossible until it's done. And then when it's done, it's easier. It's easier for the next person to do it. So I'm saying to you, if you have some literature that you want to get out to the public, you can do that. You can publish yourself, or you can get a group of people to come together. And you can do it that way, because the book, the anthology, has 12 authors. They put their resources together and they publish your own book. And so I'm just saying to you that there's no dream that you can dream that's impossible. It's just not.
And that is so true, because when you look at even the authors behind us and those who are in front of us, everyone started someplace, whether it's a little room, whether it's a little closet, whether it's out on the streets, whether it's in the park, whether it's in your car, at work. Everything started in your head.
That's right. Yeah.
I listened to Les Brown,
Yes,
author, motivational speaker. He tells his story. And he tells you how he got there. He tells you his situation and condition. But look at him now, because he was determined to do something free, to volunteer the time for the opportunity. We are here as we present ourselves to you, the door of opportunity. We want to hear from you. Even if you don't have that much in front of you, even if you haven't written that much down, you may just have a word or something to express, but share it. It's the door of opportunity, because around you, your surrounding is not reaching for somebody who reached higher. The multi-millionaires and the professional writers, it's all around you in your community, your home, your family, friends, somebody who cares about what you're doing and not be a critic of what you're doing, but to say, look, let's try it this way to help guide you. But don't allow fear to strangle you. We all are nervous at some point. Right. We may get nervous or whatever, but always keep in mind, you never know when the door of opportunity and somebody might call you. So I always say, always be you ready, because you never know when that opportunity comes. Yes, but when the door of opportunity comes and you staying there all nervous and shaking and whatnot, and somebody says, oops, got to go someplace else.
Yeah, because you miss your opportunity. And again, sometimes the opportunity knocks, but sometimes it knocks softly. Sometimes it knocks and they say, hey, look, it's time to go to work.
That's right.
And too many of us are waiting for the ideal situation, okay? If this happens, if I can be in this situation, then I'll do this. Like, I can't be happy unless I have this, and that. And what happens, you may get part of it, but not the other. Then you say, well, I can't do it. But my whole thing, and the thing that Les Brown says, begin before you're ready. Begin before you're ready. You think you need something else, jump in. Because I know with this particular program, as we come every couple of times here during the week, I learned something new and I add something a little different. But I could not have done any of that unless I started. Because once you start, you get the momentum going, and those ideas start flowing, and you find you have a whole nother thing. I'm sure this is our 3rd episode. By the time we get to our 15th episode or the 16th episode, this program will have a different shape, a different texture, and a different mode of delivery, but only because we started, and we're going to develop a little further. And so, Ron, before we go on to the next segment, you have anything that you want to say just to wrap this point up about the self-determination and self-publishing?
No, I think you pretty much said it, and we've been dialogue about that. Just keep in mind, no matter how you may feel, even when you feel nervous, use that as a positive. I'm nervous and I'm shaking, but let me step out there shaking so somebody could see my shaking and my nervousness. Because right. As you just indicated, as you move forward, that nervousness and shaking will go away. And just ensure this last one.
Yeah, please.
I forgot the actor's name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Who stuttered.
James Earl Jones.
Right, and it was somebody else who had a speech impediment. There was an issue, but that didn't stop them. Okay. And you're right, James Earl Jones, look at him. Everyone who remember him now, look at where he come from. He tells a story. Yeah. And so it's the exact same thing with you and I. Don't let the nervousness stop you, but allow it to push you to higher heights and a better person. And you will be thankful to a higher power, to you, and to this radio station, this platform, because we're trying to encourage you as we continue to encourage ourselves.
And that is so true, And with that said, we want to go on to the next segment of our program, and this is called Music is Lit. Music is Literature. And in this particular time, I read a song lyric as poetry. And the two pieces that I'm going to read tonight have a very personal connection for me, because the first song, poem, was really released in 1959. This is when I was 9 years old, and it was one of my uncle's favorite songs. My uncle passed some time ago, and he was Horace William Benjamin. Okay, and my name is Terry William Benjamin, and my uncle could not sing, as most of us, but it's so funny, Ron. When you're in the car and you start singing, you sound just like the record.
Right.
It's magic, And he would walk around singing this particular song in a very loud voice, and sound nothing like the record. but I understand his spirit. So this is offered in the spirit of my uncle, Horace William Benjamin. And this is his favorite song. It's written by Al Durbin and Harry Warren, released in 1959, and it was performed by the Flamingos. And this song is entitled "I Only Have Eyes for You." And it reads, "My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. Are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright. I only have eyes for you. The moon may be high, but I can't see a thing in the sky. I only have eyes for you. I don't know if we're in a garden or on a crowded avenue. You are here and so am I. Maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from view. And I only have eyes for you." Now, when they sing this song, it's very, very romantic, very smooth. You ever hear the song, Ron? "I Only Have Eyes for You"?
Absolutely.
Is that familiar to you?
Absolutely. And when you go back and reminisce, whether it's yesterday or a song or lyrics of somebody, an author today, you will automatically get into that mood. And that's what we was talking about even the last couple of segments in reference to love inside. How does that move inside of you? I only have eyes for you. Hey, baby, I only have eyes for you. Oh, honey, that's so sweet.
Yes, yeah. That's the love language right there.
Absolutely.
Affirmation, words of affirmation. We can get to that a little deeper because, later in the program, we're going to talk about the 5 love languages. But again, "I only have eyes for you" is a beautiful sentiment, And again, it's part of my own personal experience from my uncle in 1959. Now, the second song also has a very personal application for me because it reminds me of my first wife. And I remember I was working at Union County College. It's before I started my teaching career. I was a counselor, and I saw this young woman walking across the campus. And Ron, I said to myself, "Well, I don't know who she is, but I would love to come home to her." And the way it worked out is I got the courage to approach her and to talk with her and invite her out for lunch and then dinner, and I invited her to a Broadway show, and we had, I'm dating myself really here, and we had dinner at Beefsteak Charlie's. And you remember Beefsteak Charlie's? And they had the sangria, and they had the bread. It was unlimited sangria and unlimited salad. I don't even know if they have any more Beefsteak Charlie's around now, but it was a pretty big deal, and this was in New York City. And so I was able, like I said, I wined her and dined her, and I won her over, and we got married. But again, I often think about what would have happened if I just saw her and I never approached her. And so this song here is really telling a story about that type of situation. And this was released in 1971, and it was written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong. So Whitfield and Strong, they wrote a lot of songs for Motown Records. And this was one of their biggest hits. And it was performed by the Temptations. And the lead singer on this song was Eddie Kendricks. And the song is "Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me." And it reads here, "Each day through my window, I watch her as she passes by. I say to myself, you're such a lucky guy. To have a girl like her is truly a dream come true. Of all the fellows in the world, she belongs to you. But it was just my imagination running away with me. Just my imagination running away with me. Soon we'll be married and raise a family. Oh yeah. A cozy little home out in the country, maybe 2 children, maybe 3. I tell you, I can visualize it all. This couldn't be a dream, for too real it all seems. But it was just my imagination, once again, running away with me. Tell you, it was just my imagination running away with me. Every night on my knees I pray, dear Lord, hear my plea. Don't ever let another take her love from me, or I will surely die. Her love is heavenly. When her arms enfold me, I hear a tender rhapsody, But in reality, she doesn't even know me. It is my imagination once again running away with me. Tell you, it's just my imagination running away with me. I've never met her, but I can't forget her. Just my imagination running away with me. Just my imagination running away with me. She's never hard to find, just my imagination. She's always on my mind, running away with me. Just my imagination. And again, this is a beautiful song. It's sort of a sad song because, again, it's about a guy who looks at a woman, he wants to approach it, but he never does. And it's really sad, and it's almost like, when we look at our dreams, and we have our dreams, but we never pursue our dreams, and then we have regret. I don't know about you, Ron, but I don't want to live a life of regret. I want to live a life of I tried, and even if I failed, I learned a lesson. But that song, have you ever heard that before?
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting because, again, right now, every day, how many of us lose out on, male or female, brothers or sisters, we miss out on based on the imagination, based on the dreams that you saw somebody, but we have that fear. By nature, by human nature, we have that. But then how many actually step out there to take their chance to approach him or her without the notion that him or her or whoever it may be cuss you out? I think that's one of the biggest that holds so many back is the negative attitude, as opposed to demonstrating something pleasantness. Hello, how you doing? Hi, sister. Hi, brother. What's going on? Da 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 da. I'd like to get to know you. Well, I'm not interested. Those are fine, but be positive about your approach. Don't carry a negative image or expression, and don't let the negative words come out your mouth, because regardless of how handsome and fine you may be, your mouth can destroy your whole character about who you are.
That's right.
Yet, you look for somebody to want to be able to lift you up and showcase you, to say, yes, my imagination did not run away from me.
Yes, and that's so true, and that's why, again, just to continue with the story, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but yeah, we got married and we had a son together who I'm very proud of, and we raised my son and his two sisters. But the point I'm making is that, sometimes you got to go for it. And before we go on to our last segment of the evening, I just want to talk about imagination just one more time. And this is from Albert Einstein, and he says that imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. So Albert Einstein, one of the smartest men on this planet, before he passed, he says that imagination is more important than knowledge, because imagination can take you far. Imagine, as a matter of fact, we're here in New Jersey, but I can imagine I'm in Hawaii, and I can feel the wind, I can feel the sun on my body, and it's all my imagination. So understand that, sometimes if you dream it, you can conceive it. And so that's what I want to say on that. Now, I want to go on to the next segment of the program, and the last segment of the program is we call Food for Thought, where we look at a particular situation. And what I want to do today is look at something that we started talking about before. We talked about the 5 love languages. And basically what I want to do, I want to go through the 5 love languages just to put those out there. And we're going to have a little mini conversation about this. Now, this is the 5 love languages, okay? Love language number 1, words of affirmation, okay? Love language number 2, quality time. Love language number 3, receiving gifts. Love language number 4, acts of servitude. And love language number 5, physical touch. Now, I'll say these again because I want you, if you're home, if you don't know this material, this is from a book by Gary Chapman, and it's called The 5 Love Languages. And on the cover of the book, this is the way that it looks. And the cover, it says here, the 5 love languages, how to express heartfelt communication or commitment to your mate. and this is from Gary Chapman. And so, Ron, I'm going to read these again. I'm going to ask you what is your love language? So again, number 1, words of affirmation. Number 2, quality time. Number 3, receiving gifts. Number 4, acts of service. And number 5, physical touch. So, Mr. Ron McCray, what is your love language?
You know, it's interesting. The affirmation is to know what you're feeling in that melancholy moment, that sadness, but knowing that somebody or a spirit, a higher spirit, or even within yourself, you capture yourself to help you deal with the negativity and get rid of that. Define yourself, you know, in the quality time. Quality time does not mean I'm isolated, nobody cares. It means it allows you to settle in a way that your spirituality, your emotion, your mind allows you to reminisce on the imagination, as it was just expressed.
Right.
You ever think about the stars in the sky? How many people go outside and just look up at the moon, the stars, the sky, the clouds, just to see, allow your imagination what it would be like on the other side. You know, acts of service. What are you doing for yourself or somebody else? Are you being kind to somebody? Are you participating in an event? Are you hosting something? Or are you participating as an audience? The point is to feel something positive. A physical touch, as we know, and I read something earlier in reference to that soft, tender touch. This is not about grabbing and harsh feelings. Let me touch you. Let me hold you. How does that feel? Even when you do it to yourself. How many do it, you know, in their own space in the mirror, and they say, oh, I love me. We ain't talking about that. How do you just gently touch yourself and say, wow, the softness and tender. So yes, all that's important to look at it in that manner.
And it's so funny because sometimes when people identify their love language, sometimes, you know, they say it's a particular thing, but according to the book, you know, you can have more than one love language. And the thing is just to understand it. For example, if your love language is receiving gifts, Gary Chapman, this is from the book, he says, gifts need not be expensive, nor must they be given weekly. But for some individuals, their worth has nothing to do with monetary value and everything to do with love. So if you give something with love, it is a gift. It may not be expensive. As a matter of fact, I think some of the biggest gifts that I got from my children were things that they made in school. You know, Dad, I made this in school, and I want to give that to you. Okay, and so that is their gift. And I think, again, a lot of times, you know, when we look at this particular book, now understand this is not scientific, okay, because you can argue with this and quabble with it, whatever, you know, and I don't think it's even meant to be that. I think, again, you know, we talk about it's a conversation starter, like we were talking about this whole concept of quality time. And I just want to look at that, and it says here, a central aspect of quality time is togetherness. I do not mean proximity. Two people sitting in the same room are in close proximity, but they are not necessarily together. Togetherness has to do with focused attention. Okay, quality time could be, but is not limited to a couple watching TV together. But the quality time would be even more enhanced if they were just sitting together in silence. Because, again, that's quality time. And, again, I know many people, when they go on a date, it is the quality time that they spend with each other, and that quality time can lead to a long-lasting relationship. So the thing is this, you know, how you look at these love languages and how you interpret them. Because, again, I know they have in Broadway, they have this place, it's a wine and sip place where you go and you do a painting and you bring your wine or whatever, and you just have a good time. And a lot of times people do this. So I'm saying to you that you look at these 5 love languages, and it is how you interpret them.
You know, I if I may, two things I want to touch bases on in short.
Okay.
When you talk about gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Gifts, as you express, which is so true, it's the thought behind it. If somebody give you a gift and it's small, it's a thought that they're giving it to you just to say. It's almost like a butterfly or a child that comes up to you and say, here, mommy, daddy, whoever,
That's right, yeah.
here. Do you get mad and say, well, no, you can
What is
kill
this?
somebody else's desires and affirmation and somebody create negativity, but it's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
And as you also indicated, sitting alone. You know, you ever think about it? I don't know how many out there, but I experienced this living or whether you're home or renting next to a train, and you can feel something bail down the track, just making all kind of noise, just disturb your noise. Or as my mother used to say, you know, when she was sleeping, what's all that noise out there? There's nothing worse than rattling somebody's nervous system. But the subtleness, to be able to know that I could just fall into her arms, his arms, relax, like soft cotton, you know, relaxing, and the whole inner self just finds peace. That's important.
That's
so
beautiful.
again, when somebody, you know, really offers a gift, you have to think about the intent and the thoughts behind it,
right.
and not just say, is that it? Put it up. Because it shows a lack of appreciation, and it shows negativity living inside of you, because you never gave it a thought that somebody's giving you a gift. Gift is not measured in how big it is or how it costs. That's each individual's mindset and thinking. But no matter what, you look at those who receive those kind of gifts, and yet they give them away, or they hang in the closet. But the value, the true value of a gift is in something small.
It is, and again, and I like this book for many reasons, but one reason I like the book because it gives you tips, you know, because a lot of times we might have an idea on how to do things, and we said before that too many marriages end in divorce, and I know from my own personal experience, I think that the marriage starts to fall apart when you stop communicating with each other. You know, and understand this, talking is not communication, okay? Talking is one aspect of it. But I just want to share this very briefly from the book. And this is going back to the area of quality time. And Gary Chapman says, you know, these are some tips that you and your spouse should maybe consider when you're engaged in quality time. It said, number one, maintain eye contact when your spouse is talking. That keeps your mind from wandering and communicates that he or she has your full attention, okay? Number two, don't listen to your spouse and do something else at the same time, okay? Remember, quality time is giving someone your undivided attention. If you're watching, reading, or doing something else in which you are keenly interested and cannot turn from it immediately, tell your spouse the truth. A positive approach might be, I know you're trying to talk to me and I'm interested, but I want to give you my full attention. I can't do that right now, but if you give me 10 minutes to finish this, I'll sit down and listen to you. Most spouses will respect such a request. Number three, listen for feelings. Ask yourself, what emotion is my spouse experiencing? When you think you have the answer, confirm it. For example, it sounds to me like you are feeling disappointed because I forgot fill in the blank. That gives her the chance to clarify her feelings. It also communicates that you are listening intently to what she is saying. Observe body language. Clenched fists, trembling hands, tears, furrowed brows, and eye movement may give you clues as to what the other is feeling. Sometimes body language speaks one message while words speak another. Ask for clarification to make sure you know what she's really thinking and feeling. And number five, refuse to interrupt. Recent research has indicated that the average individual listens for only 17 seconds before interrupting and interjecting his own ideas. If I give you my undivided attention while you are talking, I will refrain from defending myself or hurling accusations at you or dogmatically stating my position. My goal is to discover your thoughts and feelings. My objective is not to defend myself or to set you straight. It is to understand. And so if we understand that, if we realize that, quality time is really giving the undivided attention. And a lot of times, a lot of us don't know how to listen. Okay, we listen. We're not really listening because we really just seeing the person's mouth moving and whatnot. Because all we think about is the next thing that we want to say, and that's not quality time. That's not listening. That's not listening. What say you, Ron? What do you say?
It's interesting. Which those point. Matter of fact, go back right quick because even when I was in school, we see the paper, and I think this paper was written from Harvard Law School, Harvard University, and it was centered around communication. I'm going to be honest with you. I am one. I have a stigma on, listening.
You're being honest.
There's a difference between listening and hearing. And I'm also in the same boat to say, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not one to sit there and stare you in the eye. Because to me, I think it becomes an insult. But what I notice and what I will truly stand on is the fact that you're able to look a person in the eye, whether you glance, because I'm listening. For me, I'm listening and I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm trying to get an understanding as it was just read.
Yeah.
What's being said and what's not being said. What is he or she is expressing? That's what's important. The Bible says, in all thy ways get an understanding, but you can't get an understanding if you're distracted, you're looking someplace else, and all that other stuff. It's an insult. It's a direct insult. And that's why so many says, and more women who's more in a lot of ways sensitive, but I understand the mature level of this. Are you listening? Did you hear what I said? You see, and I also took up this coaching class years ago. And there's two things that's extremely important for everyone at the sound of my voice right now. Listening for and listening to. See, listening to, you interject and all of a sudden you think you know what I'm going to conclude with. So it becomes an insult. And that's why somebody says, oh, you're listening. You're not listening to me.
That's right, yeah.
But listening, you try to get an understanding by allowing the person to finish. What is the message? What is he or she really saying? That's what's important. The other thing, too, to that is the fact that the facilitator says, everyone has a network of conversation going on in their head.
That's right.
And unfortunately, too many get caught up in the traffic jam because they're looking here, looking there, arguing about this and that and the other. And so the person that you're around says, are you paying attention to me? Yeah, but and that's what's wrong. And so you create your own disaster, your own destruction because you're not paying attention. You're not trying to get a sense of understanding. So ultimately what happens, somebody says, you really don't care. Don't pacify me and entertain me with some clarity. That's what communication is all about, in a quality of a relationship, whether you're with somebody, by yourself, whatever. How do you speak to, in this case, those who speak to God? Or you listen to the Spirit? It doesn't matter what denomination you represent. Whether Islam, whether it's Judaism, doesn't matter. Are you listening?
Yeah. And the thing is there is such a thing as active listening, and active listening means you're listening for understanding. Again, so this has been Poetically Speaking, the place for spoken word. And this hour goes so fast because we're so engaged with the word. The poetic word, the spoken word. One of the things that I want to end with is that you have to understand that sometimes a book can be an audiobook. There's a phenomenon of there are some books now that have never been books. They went straight to audiobooks. And so they're audiobooks, and I'm working with some people now who don't want to write a actual book, but they want to actually do audiobooks. So we're working on that. So what I'm saying to you, and again, we will see you again on Thursday. But in the meantime, get some understanding, And when you get that understanding, take it a step further and share that understanding with someone else, because it's almost like a circle, okay? The more you put out, the more that you get back. And so with that said, Ron, I want you to say goodbye, and we got to get out of here.
Okay, and this one quick thing, which is what you just said, which is so important. All that was just expressed, it's all tied into Poetically Speaking. Right. It's about you writing your story. So once again, until we see you next time, enjoy, be safe, and take care. Again, don't forget to subscribe like, and hit that bell button so we can know that you are making your comments, so we can understand how we can continue to entertain you, to give you, and we look for you to give us. So once again, take care.
Peace.